Hi everyone, it's Melanisha with Just Homesteading. I have been in the garden all day today. I am tired, exhausted, and I was going to go in the house and clean up before doing this video, but this is what you get. This is real life. You know, homesteading is not always rainbows and unicorns. So I'm out in the garden. I weed whacked the entire garden today. If you're new here, my garden is about 5,000 square feet. And I let the weeds get out of control. And I should have taken a before picture, but I didn't. So this is what it looks like when it's mostly cleaned up. So I'm going to give you a tour, show you what I got growing in here, show you what I still need to do. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. So this is the first garden tour with food actually planted in the garden. So let me turn the camera around and I will show you what I have. Okay, so when you first walk in the garden, we have this pot. There is pink popcorn in here. We have this stacked planter. We have peppermint, spearmint. I think that's a cauliflower. Some fenugreek down there. Collards, red mustard. Summer savory, some parsley down there, and then there's a pepper on the other side. This is the first bed when you walk in. It's a combination of peppers. We have some flowers in here and lots of brassicas. So this bed is newly planted. So these aren't that big yet. And I haven't watered for the night yet, so everything is going to look a bit dry. We have some roselle back there in the corner. And as you can see, some of these pepper plants were in when we got our last frost. So they look a little rough at the moment. Moving to the next bed. Again, more brassicas and peppers, and a good portion of the brassicas in this bed will be pulled once they are ready. I've been pulling a lot of my brassicas because of the heat, and my brassicas are bolting. So you can see my pak choi right here is bolting, and the one next to it is actually bolting too. So I'm gonna let this one go to seed so I can save seeds, and mostly everything else will be pulled. I pulled a bunch of Napa cabbage yesterday. They just don't seem to like the heat, and we have some very, very hot days coming up. This is a full bed of brassicas. So we have cabbage, broccoli, celery. There's a lettuce plant right here. I didn't plant this lettuce, but I did have lettuce in this bed last year. Lots of celery, kohlrabi, Swiss chard, kale, this tatsoi. This is about ready to be pulled. And as you can see, I'm dealing with some pest damage. We have purple pak choi. And then this is another bed of brassicas. As you can tell, this one has been in a lot longer. These plants are large and lush. We have some dinosaur kale, broccoli. I want to show you. And up close, the kohlrabi is looking great. Savoy cabbage. I think there's a giant cabbage in here. You can see these celery back here. These are the giant Pascal celery. Not as big as the other ones. I pulled some Napa cabbage from back here, so I've planted cucumbers so they can use this trellis. I had cucumbers in this same spot last year. I have a bunch of squash here. They're not looking that great, but I'm hoping to get them in the next few days. Onions. So the onions are looking amazing. So I have 3 beds of onions in this front section of the garden. They will be the first ones to come out, and some of them have already started to bulb up. And then you can see the 3rd bed of onions right there. And this is the bed where, and I've been doing some cleaning in here. You see I got some pots there, but if you look closely, you can see that this onion already has a nice bulb on it. This is a yellow granix. So this is the Vidalia onion type that is considered a short day onion, but they said it would grow well here, and it looks like it is. Next we have the garlic bed, or one of the garlic beds. So I planted garlic last fall, and unfortunately it did not do very well. So I found a website, and they said that they had some garlic that you could plant in the spring and you should get decent sized bulbs. So I got some of that and planted it. So the larger garlics that you see in here are the ones that actually made it through the winter, and the smaller ones are the soft neck variety that I bought and planted in the spring. So I've never actually grown soft neck garlic before. They look pretty well for the most part, but I do have some yellow, so I'm probably going to put some mushroom compost on this bed. And as you can see, some of these have already started growing scapes. And I wouldn't normally have scapes this early, so I'm not sure if it's the variety or if it's the weather. This is a full bed of potatoes, Cathodon potatoes. I planted 10 pounds of Cathodon potatoes in this bed, and they are just starting to sprout up. If you've seen my other videos, you know that this is my lettuce and spinach bed. As you can see, a good bit of my spinach is bolting, so I don't think I'm going to get many more harvests from here. And the lettuce is still looking nice and lush and no bug damage. Here I have one of my grapes, and I don't remember what kind this is. And then I also have some Virginia creeper mixed in here that I need to cut out. I haven't planted in this bed yet, so it's still empty. This one, I have a trellis built here, and I'm planting tomatoes, basil. I have a violet artichoke right here, peppers, but mostly tomatoes in this bed. So in the back of the trellis, I will do indeterminate tomatoes, and in the front, I'm going to do determinate tomatoes. So you can see these peppers and marigolds were out when we got a frost, so they have some damage. I don't know if they are going to make it, but I have more in case they don't. This is the other garlic bed. As you can see, the majority of the garlic in this bed did not make it, and this bed was full of garlic. Okay, I'm going to go around the other side. I did put some squash plants in here. I have some squash plants along the trellis to hopefully grow over it. There is a purple cabbage in here. No, actually this might be a purple kohlrabi, and then this one is a purple cabbage. We have lots of chamomile, but as you can see, there's lots of weeds in this bed, and it could use some mushroom compost. So this is the soil from last year that I didn't necessarily like, but the soil that I got this year is a lot better. These are the only 2 elephant garlic plants that made it. This is my Russian tarragon. So I don't even know if you can see how tall that is, but it's doing great, and I need to harvest some of that soon. Over here, I have potatoes in pots. So these were planted more recently, but they sprouted really quickly. And I don't remember what kind of potatoes they are. These might be the blue potatoes, but I'm not 100% sure. And then we have Yukon gold potatoes. And as you can see, I need to add some soil to these. And I should have did that a while ago. I also have some potatoes in here that were recently planted. And again, I don't remember the variety. Oh, actually, yes, I do. So this was a standard mix from Urban Farmer. So it's just, I think it's a mix of Yukon Gold, Red Norland, and a russet type. Over here on this side of the trellis, we have lots of beans. There are some Brussels sprouts in here, more squash to grow up the trellis, celery. There's an eggplant in here, a Savoy cabbage. But some of my beans did not grow, so I'm gonna have to reseed. This bed I actually planted today and yesterday. So we have a candy roaster squash here that I'm gonna just let sprawl out. We have rampicante, which will hopefully grow up against the fence. The spaghetti squash up against the fence. And then tons of cucumbers. And I know they look a little close, but we get a lot of cucumber beetles, a lot of squash bugs. So a good number of these plants won't make it because they're gonna get attacked by pests. And as you can see on this side, I planted in the small holes of the cinder block. So we have some marigolds in here, some dill, and some zinnias. And then over here, these are all of our peas. And again, the hope is that they grow up against the fence. I got some weeds in there I need to pull. But overall, they're looking good. But yeah, I mean, this is really what the garden looks like. And then when you walk back over here by the brassicas, I forgot to show you this. These are red Pontiac potatoes in here. So now we're going to move into the middle section of the garden. So the garden is broken up in 3 sections. So these are Red Lake currants. So the middle section of the garden is, for the most part, when it's all done, will be the Perennial Garden. It's still a work in progress. I still have a lot of planting to do in here. So yeah, I will add in plants as I can. So the next row, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 blackberry plants. Here we have 3 blueberry plants. The next row is mulberries. Then we have raspberries. And then here, these were just planted because I just got these in the mail recently. These are my elderberry plants. So I actually haven't had a chance to get in the plants that I got from M.I. Gardener. So until the perennial garden is actually done, as you can see, I have some potatoes and a trench down here. I grew potatoes in this section last year because we pulled out a huge clay pipe. So the trench was basically dug for me. So I just planted potatoes there, and then I'm doing it again this year. But eventually I won't be planting potatoes in here because this will all be a perennial space. I have a plum cot tree in here. This tree was just planted the other day. This is a Hill Haven peach. And then this one is a Macintosh apple. So, and then I will put trees along the rest of this row because I have one more in the corner down here. And this is a plum. So I have raspberries planted throughout this section before I decided to do rows. This is a double gold raspberry, but I am going to be moving these so that way everything, that they're all in rows to make it easier to harvest and easier to find the plants when I'm weed whacking or mowing in here. So we have another raspberry, more raspberries. There's another one here. We have one back here. There's a small one right here. And then I think there are a few more. And then there's a few blackberries in here that also need to be moved. So over here, you can see the sheet that I was using to cover the plants. We have this strawberry bed. So the strawberry plants themselves look great, but I don't see a lot of strawberries on these. So I think I am going to thin this bed out a little bit and spread out these strawberries so that way hopefully next year we get more. So you can see this bed, strawberries, and we also have some asparagus in here. So I accidentally left asparagus on the ground in my garden and it grew. And the asparagus that is on the ground in my clay soil looks better than the asparagus that is actually in my raised bed. So I haven't decided if I should pull this and put it in the raised bed or just build something around this asparagus so that way I can harvest from it next year. This bed was full of onions, and it was mostly Patterson onions, but they didn't do that well because as you can see, there aren't that many left. And this bed was full. There was probably maybe 80 or so onions in this bed, and there's probably less than 20 in here. So I'm not sure what happened, but we have lots of onions in the front part of the garden. Here again, the onions didn't do that well and the weeds are taking over. I keep pulling. I have no idea what these things are, but they're driving me crazy. They're popping up everywhere throughout the garden and I can't pull them unless I have on really thick gloves because they have these little spikes on them. This is the Cipollini onions. They're doing a lot better than the Patterson in this section. So I don't think it's the soil. It might have been the plants, but I'm not sure. And in this bed, we have some kale, some Napa cabbage, and some pak choi that are both bolting, and some tatsoi, and then some more Cipollini onions. So this is my herb bed. We have lavender, rosemary, chamomile, basil, thyme. I think that's lemon balm, parsley, and I had a pineapple sage here, but it didn't make it through the frost. So yeah, I'm gonna have to replant some things in this bed so that way it fill out a lot better and look more lush. Over here, I have strawberries and horseradish. And this is my rhubarb. It's Canadian rhubarb and strawberry bed. Oh, and look at there. That strawberry wasn't ready yesterday, so my littles are gonna fight over it. And then here we have blueberry row. So we haven't gotten a lot of rain, so these blueberries look super tiny. And I'm not actually sure that they're gonna make it. But these two are pink lemonade blueberries. And then we have some other varieties here that I don't actually remember what they are. I do have 2 elderberries in the corner over there somewhere that I'm going to move over to the other section with the other elderberries. So that's pretty much it for the middle section of the garden. And then we move into the third section. So we have this 100-gallon grow bag where I grew sweet potatoes last year. Lots of wood chips. Here's the boat. It is still a work in progress. And then we have this pool over here where I have some, there's a pumpkin in here that again got hit by the frost. And then there's a blue Hubbard. So they're both hanging on, but I don't know that they're actually gonna make it. And then we have some flowers here. I actually have no idea what these are, but they're beautiful, so I left them. So this section of the garden is the most incomplete. I'm probably gonna grow a bunch of squash up here because it's an empty space for the most part. I have another 100-gallon grow bag that still needs to be filled. More wood chips. And back here, I have a Bartlett pear tree. So yeah, the rest of the trees are in the orchard that are outside of the fenced-in garden. And this bed right here is where I'm going to plant corn and squash. So I was working on this bed today, trying to get all of these weeds out of here, but I didn't finish. I still need to finish weeding, add in some mushroom compost, and then I can plant popcorn. So we planted regular corn, regular sweet corn in here last year. We have a local farmer that has really great sweet corn, so I've decided to get corn from them because eventually they'll put it on sale for buy one sack get one free, which is a great price. But we eat a lot of popcorn, so I decided to plant popcorn in this bed this year. So that's what we're gonna do. I actually had a really hard time finding popcorn, and I ended up having to order it online. I got it from Hoss Tools because I couldn't find it anywhere locally. And I have one more bed to show you. It's back in the front section of the garden. I got a little table and chair set that I have to still put together and put in here, so that way I can have another sitting area in my garden. Because in the front section I have a bench, as you can see here. Lots of plants everywhere because I'm trying to get everything in, but I want to have lots of seating in my garden so I can just sit out here and really take in what we have going on. So this bed has some cabbage in it. So I just planted this cabbage today. It looks a little rough. I have a lot of slugs in my greenhouse. Put some beer in there last night, so hopefully that will take care of them. But we have carrots, radishes, beets in here. I think there's rutabagas in here. There are turnips in here. So just basically root vegetables. And I still need to come in and thin some of these out. But as you can see, I'm trying to get a good angle for you. We have some radishes popping up. So, but again, lots of bug damage. I haven't sprayed anything. I likely won't spray anything, and we'll just hope that the pests leave us something to eat also. So I'm still working on this pile of mushroom compost. I am almost done. There's only a little bit left. See, we got a fire going. Still getting rid of these trees that fell during that storm. And then I still have these to fill. And I haven't decided yet what I'm going to put in here. But that is it. I mean, this is the garden. I'm standing at the gate, and this is what it looks like. So yeah, lots going on in the garden right now. I'm just literally right now, I'm just trying to get everything planted. There's just so much to plant, not a lot of time. Oh, I forgot to show you the sweet potato bed. So the sweet potatoes got hit by a frost. As you can see, some plants look better than others. Some you can barely see them, but they're here. I haven't pulled them yet because they still look like they have some life. Maybe not this one right here. It's gone. And I did cover this bed and they still got some frost damage. But I have about maybe 50 sweet potato slips in the house. So I will just come out, replant these, and then I will also use those 2 100-gallon grow bags to plant sweet potatoes in. Okay, now I think I've shown you everything. See, I hope you enjoyed this garden tour. I'm sure you all can hear my littles in the background. They are loving this nice weather. So they've been outside all day with me. My little one even took a nap in his stroller out here. So yeah, so this is what the garden looks like right now. It's Memorial Day weekend. So my hope is to do monthly garden tours, but we shall see. You know, if you're new here, I work full time. I have 4 littles, so I don't always get to everything that I plan on getting to. But that is it for now. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.